Hey guys, October 6th, 2021. We are looking at GROM, Grom, and I'm not too sure familiar with this stock. I don't know if you guys are, but I do know there was a lot of volume today, which kind of set the precedent for how it was going to pop up compared to the other days. So you could have foreseen this happening if you had a trend line or a support and resistance. But the only thing I don't like about this is because it doesn't make any news pre-market, we don't know or can't anticipate this upward trend. But never the case, this upward trend would have broke our resistance at 950, would have caught our attention and possibly jumped in to ride it for a couple of minutes, 5, 10, 15, preferably 20 minutes. I do see there was a circuit break, a circuit halt here. You can tell because of the space between the bar candles. It doesn't just move up like that on its own. It has to be something stalling it and then resume at another price target for that to happen. Then from there it dropped another halt. Wow, this thing must have been putting in numbers. I think this may have been over 100 million shares traded. No, it was around 87 million shares traded, which is not bad. But it went below VWAP. As far as possible plays, you could have drawn a trend line here in the beginning of the day to kind of foresee once it came back down here that this upward trend was going to stop. From here, kind of consolidated somewhat from here to here. I probably would have put my resistance at 448, and once it broke this resistance for this small range, I would have thought maybe it's going to go up, which it did. It went above VWAP, which is a good sign. Usually that means a lot of people are watching it, and then from here it kind of consolidated and moved sideways. A lot of consolidation sideways action for this stock, and then for the rest of the day kind of couldn't make up his mind if it wanted to finish above VWAP or below VWAP. But those are the possible plays, guys. You could have maybe bought a dip here at 1155, 410, sold up here. You could have done the same thing at 135, yeah, 135, sold up here. If you was shorting this, you could have followed this trend. The minute you saw this bottom cone break, you could have shorted it, and it would have been perfect. Would have been below VWAP, even though it halted here, so maybe that couldn't have happened. But other than that, I don't see any other obvious plays. I do want to get to another popular stock that was sharing very heavily today, Btbt, which we talked about yesterday briefly. But let's get into it today. If you look at the charts and the trends we drew yesterday, it was an upward trend pre-market or after market yesterday. So pre-market today, it fell below just to go right back above where we indicated it to go. But let's zoom in on today and see what's going on. I'm not even sure if there was news that drove it today to cause it Btbt to continue running. Shares are jumped after closing $80 million private placement. Bitcoin moves over 52. So I guess there's some interesting news that came out on Bitcoin, but let's see if there was any possible plays here today, guys. So this thing was just not hugging, but moving up and down the VWAP. Don't really like stocks that do that, but it is what it is. As far as plays, you could have made a simple gain at the beginning of the day by doing what I always like to do, which is, is always buying just above the pre-market candle. Not always, but I usually buy just above the pre-market candle. The last one, excuse me, and I normally try to sell at the second stock, so you could have made a gain there. As far as bouncing off the VWAP, there wasn't no opportunities there. It pretty much went through. As far as trends being broken to see where we can go reversal and counter to make money, I didn't see any long enough trends that'll make it obvious. This is pretty much, in my opinion, called reaching. I'm just making something out of nothing here, but that's not a real trend. Trying to see maybe this would have been an indication if you were able to short this um, of a upward trend being broken once it got below 1216 at 1145. From there, it would have been nice if this thing bounced or stayed at 1175 and came back up, but nope, it went straight through and went as low as $11.58. From here, it looks like it kind of formed a range, which is hugging that VWAP, and the above range was at 1213. So if you had saw this forming, you could have bought down here at 1177, possibly sold somewhere up here at 1209. If you tried to repeat that one last time at 1177, you would have been disappointed. It didn't get all the way back up there. It actually fell through. But you know, you always put your stops not too far from your support. And we would have saw it broke through and went down for the rest of the day. So those are the possible plays for Btbt. Hope you guys made some money, trade well, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.